The Midday Mix on Mix 93.8.
So in studio with me, I have Mr. Christian Steyn from STEYN IP. Christian, welcome back. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, well, a bit more than a month, but hiding away from the cold in the office. So
yeah, Christian usually comes and visits us on his bike, and today is not the case.
No.
So today we're going to be chatting about intellectual property in the online domain. What are some of the risks that are involved with having your IP online? Because it's obviously very accessible to pretty much anyone who has an internet connection.
Yes, and trying to stay offline in today's world, you
work.
won't exist. So you need to have your IP online. And just fun fact, in the last 10 years, the internet has expanded at a factor of 1,000. This morning we checked, there's 3.53 billion active websites this morning.
So literally 1 out of 2 people.
But it's ridiculous, the amount of active websites, and that's not including social media pages, because Facebook counts as one website.
One website.
And so it's a massive world online, and you need to be online as a company and a brand owner. But a risk with that is, except for the fake sales of your goods on various platforms, which is a common, or is the most common one, there's these IP infringement factors to consider, where your SEOs, like your search engine optimization and paid for ads, where competitors actually use your trademark as part of their online marketing campaign.
So they can kind of piggyback on your SEO.
Yes. They use in their SEO, they use your brand name, because somebody Googles your brand and they end up on their website. Yes, there's a clear distinction between the ads and the actual content. Yeah. But a lot of times you can see, wait, this isn't what I Googled.
This isn't
is
quite
a competitor.
Yeah.
So that's one of the more challenging factors of, we are sitting with IP. Yeah. I won't say infringement, misuse.
So it does count as misuse. It's not kind of sneaky. You're actually doing something wrong.
How trademarks specifically work is, if you use somebody else's trademark in the sense of trade, meaning for commercial gain, without a permission, it's misuse, and it can be infringement. So there's a lot of cases coming up with this AdWords, Google AdWords, where competitors use each other, although it's a new sphere, and depending on country and judge, the outcome differs. So that's something to consider when you're a brand owner. And then obviously cyber squatting, which we spoke about in the domains, and phishing emails, although the cybersecurity bill that was promulgated last week, and Poppy will hopefully it tries to address some of those concerns with phishing emails. Okay. But the problem is, it's still there, where, so for instance, you get an email from your favorite brand, but it's actually a phishing email from
trying to get some details.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to look at maybe some of the unintended consequences of this technology, where you talk about something like SEO, where it's been built and developed to optimize your brand sticking out, but now people have figured out, hey, if I put this and this and this in there, I can benefit someone else's brand. They can benefit from this, which is absolutely crazy.
It's ridiculous.
And these things you can't really foresee until it actually, some smart guy out there goes, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, and the problem is, because it's in the back end, it's not easy to identify. And brand owners end up paying a lot of money to just have their own brand linked to their website online, or else their competitor will. So that it's a major concern, but it's not something you can't get around. So it's something you can work with and deal with if you have experts guiding you.
For sure. Now, how do we avoid these kind of pitfalls that you might not even realize existed?
Yeah, well, firstly, most important thing, and I think I say this every time, is make sure you've got a proper IP portfolio and IP strategy in place, because building your brand as a business, at the end of the day, you sell your brand. Yeah. People associate whatever you do or whatever you sell with your brand name, your company name, your logo. And make sure that is protected. And when it's actually protected, there's various avenues to follow, where you can take these instances of misuse online on. But you need, unfortunately, it's a constant thing that you need to reassess, look at, work with somebody on a long-term basis. It's not just, there's infringement, let's find somebody do it. You need to build a relationship with industry experts, like ourselves.
Yeah.
And actually work out what your IP, where's the vulnerabilities, how to protect it, and then actually actively enforce it.
So be proactive, don't be reactive to it.
Yes, and if you find something, act against them.
Yeah,
and
don't just let it slide.
Yeah, and the most important thing here is what a lot of clients don't think of is budget. In your annual budget for IP, expansion and IP infringement matters, because it's part of
it. It must
business.
be quite a bit cheaper, easier, quicker to nip it in the bud rather than it having gone on for months or years and then try and once it's all entrenched and this is a whole process that's been happening. In terms of social media posts, shares, reposts, the life cycle of social media, how do we protect our brand? Because surely you're putting the stuff out with the people having the ability to copy, paste, save, repost, share, do whatever the hell they want with it.
Well, the one thing to just remember is just because it's online, it's not free to use. And a lot of people still
I can just in my mind picture a whole bunch of musicians, photographers, all those guys jumping up and down going, yes, that's right.
No, just because, say for instance, I place my IP online, whether it's a photo, work of art, a book, or then my brands and stuff online, it doesn't mean somebody else can use it simply because it's online. It's still my IP.
Yeah.
And a lot of the social media platforms,
at the bottom, crop there, you
see that often.
Out. Yeah.
And a lot of social media platforms actually have policies in place to protect IP. Contrary to popular belief, they actually worry about the creator's IP in most instances, at least. And well, without going into too much detail on social media,
because this is a whole other kettle of fish,
especially when you go into music and stuff like that.
Yeah,
maybe a topic for next time. But the main thing to remember there is just because it's online doesn't mean you can use it necessarily.
Yeah,
and when you think of IP and especially smartphones, people forget that your app icon is now your brand. Because if you open and listeners can do this as well, take your smartphone, unlock it, what do you see? A bunch of icons. You don't read which icon you go to. You know the icon is it's this or that or that or this.
Click.
That's your brand. That's actually one of the most essential brands, and people forget to protect it. So your app icon needs to be protected. And people don't think of it. And now I can see your face. I wish I could take a picture.
This wash of realization.
Next time you look at your phone, and same like I said, listeners, look at your phone and just make this realization that I only look at an icon. I don't read it.
I
identify it and identify the brand based on that little square.
I definitely think it's something interesting to pick up for next time. Christian, if people want to get involved, if they want to get a bit more info, how do we get a hold of you?
Simplest way is go online, search STEYN IP, which is India Papa, I need to say that, or go to our website, STEYNIP.com.
Yeah.
And we're on all social media platforms at STEYN IP. So reach us, like, share, send us a WhatsApp. Yeah. Our details are online. Go crazy.
Fantastic. Christian, thanks so much for coming through, man. Stay safe, and we'll chat again soon.
Definitely.
Damian Schmidt on Mix 93.8.